Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Matt here, and we back with another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. So, we are back for another episode of TUF. Are you tough enough? The Ultimate Fighter, episode 2, McGregor versus Chandler. So, not a whole lot to get into, but let's get into it. First off, I will say the second episode was a little bit more entertaining than the first. Why is that, Matt? Why is the second episode more entertaining? Could it be Conor McGregor got a little tipsy, he got a little drizzy, got a little drunk? Might have been some other substances involved, because on my show, he's the king of snow. So, you know, I don't know, but homie was looking a little off. So let's get into it. So, uh, it's not even about it's not even about the fights. I mean, no disrespect to those guys, but if you watch The Ultimate Fighter and you're truly paying attention to each and every fighter nowadays in 2023, I mean, that first episode showed you they don't even care about the fighter. So it's kind of like, whatever. And I don't want to. I'm not directing that towards the fighters. I'm directing that towards how the UFC is presenting the show. So, with that being said, the only real highlights of this show, now I will say it was a tremendous knee, a tremendous knee that won the Ultimate Fighter fight. But I mean, I'm not really, I don't really know those guys, so I'm not even really sure of anything about them. And I mean, they do such a flimsy way of piecing together their story on the show that you just kind of zone out, kind of veg out, and you kind of miss these guys' story. And then when McGregor comes in tuned up, you're like, oh, it's McGregor. Let me take a look. So, no disrespect to those guys on that show. I know they're chasing their dream and everything. It's more of a disrespect to the UFC, who is not really presenting them in a different way. We've been seeing how the Ultimate Fighter's been working for, you know, 20 years or something. And it's like, probably 30 years. Who knows? Zo's the company. Excuse me. The fact of the matter is, though, I mean, we just don't want to see it presented like that. And they're coming with this age old, archaic way of doing it, and we don't want to see that. With all that being said, because I don't want to be like, the people in the MMA media, how they be trying to go at everything and clown the UFC. It ain't even about all that. I just wanted to say that because I don't want to disrespect those fighters on the show. With that being said, let's get down to it. McGregor starts getting drizzy drunk in the house with the other contestants or people on his team, I should say. And I just a real quick takeaway. It's kind of sad, bro. Like, it wasn't like McGregor disrespected himself or made himself look bad or anything, but we haven't, like, we feel like we've had access to Conor McGregor for years, but when you think about it, since a little ways before everybody started getting sick and stuff in 2020, it's like we didn't really see we didn't really see homie a lot. You seen him doing his media thing, but you didn't really get to see the real him. And as you're seeing it on this show, which I know they're not presenting the exact real him, but when you're seeing it, you get this feeling that it's just a shell of what Conor McGregor could have been. I've never been a huge Conor fan. I liked him, uh, in a little bit more of his earlier days of the UFC before you really caught fire. And I kind of felt like when he did catch fire, he started leaning too much into the trash talk and too much into the talking. And while it did work fight after fight, I believe he leaned too much into that. It would take guys out of their game, take them out of their game plan by different things he would say. I bet you won't do this, or you'll do nothing. I bet you won't come at me and do this, or whatever the case is. And he would trick guys out of their game plan. And so you had some that got, extremely angry at him and just came in came at him with full force, like Jose Aldo. You had other guys that I believe the moment that he created, he being Connor, was too big for him, like Eddie Alvarez. So, looking at him now, and when you listen to different interviews that he does, he kind of dances around, being the king of snow. He kind of dances around it. He kind of codes it as to how, having a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of Proper 12. He kind of dances around it. But when you see him now, you just kind of really get this feeling of, man, what could this guy have? What could he have been if he either could have been able to maintain coming into that much money at such an early age, or what would he have been if he never would have took the Floyd fight and just kept, inching his way up? Because, he was already he was one of the highest paid fighters, period, in the UFC before he went and fought Floyd. I know, more power to him for making all his money and getting it in a big lump sum, during the Floyd fight, even though the UFC took a heavy percentage. But, you just wonder what he could have been. Even like at one point when he was training with his team, and one of his team members asked him, what thoughts are going through his head when he's walking to the octagon. And that was a moment that years ago, Prime McGregor would have knocked out of the park. The way he would have illustrated it and the way he would have talked about it and, his mentality, his mindset as he's walking towards the octagon. And this, it was almost like he tried to manufacture something he wanted to say, and then it just didn't really come out right. So then he just kind of blew it off and was like, you're thinking of a lot of things. It's a lot of things. And it's just like, man, come on, bro. Like, it just seems to be a disconnection. And in my opinion, I just think he should be one of those fighters that you don't need to come out and try to fight for your paycheck now. He's already wealthy, so he doesn't need the money. But you don't need to just keep doing this if you're not going to be 100% committed and able to kind of turn down some of the other things in your life that you normally turn up on. So, I don't know how it's all going to work out, but it just, it's at times it's a tough, it's a, like the show from MMA Fighting, it's a tough hang. At times it's a tough watch. You're watching and you're like, man, what could this guy have been? So, I don't know. I guess this is not a good episode review because I didn't really even discuss any of the fighters, but I gotta be real with it, and it's pretty much the McGregor show, and I'm not even a fan, but he's that polarizing. Until you tune in this year and you realize, oh man, this side of him is no longer polarizing. The side of him that's actually polarizing is, when he's sneaking off in the bathroom to do what he does and coming back out wired and geeked up, like all wide-eyed, like, when he when he comes in like that, that's so like, oh, McGregor's it's gonna go down, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, that has been the review for episode 2. Do with that what you will. I appreciate you guys for checking in on me, watching these videos. I appreciate all the comments, everything, emails, and we'll be back at it next time. I got a little something for you all. We're gonna drop, a little review of of UFC 289 coming up this weekend. Amanda Nunes defends her bantamweight championship, so that should be interesting. So we're going to take a look at everything. We're going to get off into it. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace.